All right, my Virgo friends, how are you today? Michael Eschenburg here, Honest Aim, bringing you some honest astrology for the month ahead for Virgos for February 2020. All right, we got a lot of movement going on right now, okay? We've got Mercury changing signs on the 3rd. We've got Venus changing signs on the 7th. We've got a full moon in Leo on the 9th. We've got Mars changing signs, exalted in Capricorn. It's a very exciting place to be in your 5th house on the 16th. We've got the sun moving into Pisces on the 19th. Okay, good opportunities for love. And then we've got a new moon in Pisces on the 23rd. Okay, so to begin this journey in the month of February, okay, we got a Mercury retrograde that's coming up on the 17th. However, Mercury enters the shadow period on the 2nd. Okay, so this is really, really important to start paying attention to what's happening between the 2nd and the 17th of February. Okay, let me show you the chart and I'll explain that. So although the retrograde doesn't start, here's Mercury right here, 27 degrees on the 1st. On the 2nd, it's going to move to 28 degrees, okay? And then between 28 degrees and just about 13 degrees, it'd be 12 degrees, 50 some space minutes, whatever. Okay, so Mercury is going to move forward from the 28th all the way just about to 13 degrees. Okay, then the retrograde begins on the 17th. Okay, and it's going to move back all through that shadow period, all the way till March 10th. It's going to be right back here again in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, and then after the 10th, it's going to start moving forward and cross this stuff, cross this same space for the 3rd time. Okay, so being a Virgo rising, okay, being a Virgo sun, this really is highlighting your relationships, okay? So it's moving out of your service to other individuals, and the sun's still there. How am I being of service to others? Okay, so Mercury, our planet of communication and information, moving into your 7th house. This is about your relationships with other people. This is about partnerships, love, romantic relationships. This is about, boss-employee relationships, our friend relationships, our relationships with our brother, sister, mother, father, whatever. This is about relationships all in all, okay? So Mercury, again, our planet of communication, information, trading goods, entering your 7th house is a really, really beautiful time of year. And to retrograde I don't look at retrogrades as a bad thing. It's a time for us to slow down. And I'll explain this more in the daily videos. So if you're new to the channel, check out the dailies because I dive way deeper into each aspects of the day. And I'll explain more about the Mercury retrogrades in another episode. So, the Mercury retrogrades are a positive thing because they give us time to review. So we're not just always bolting ahead and leaving a trail of paperwork behind us. And that's not a Virgo kind of a thing. A Virgo, is taking notes, writing lists, making sure the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, but still we can look over things. So Mercury retrograde in your 7th house is like a chance to review relationships or your relationships with other people. How can I be a better communicator? This is happening in the sign of Pisces, so water sign, okay? So this is taking your communication and your partnerships to a spiritual level, a level of creativity, all right? This is about expansion, okay? So there's a beautiful amount of expansion that's going to happen in the month of February for the Virgos, which is very, very, very exciting, okay? And then the sun's going to move into your 7th house, the sign of Pisces, on the 19th, right? Very, very positive. Now, let me jump back here for a second. Now, Venus, okay, is going to move out of your 7th house, which Venus is exalted. It's always an exciting time for Virgos when Venus is in Pisces because it's obviously this is your relationship sector, okay? It's about your partnerships, romantic and everything else. So Venus, sweet, loving, caring Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces and will maintain in the sign of Pisces all the way until the 7th. And Venus will enter the sign of Aries, okay? Going out of your 7th house into your 8th house. And then on the 9th/10th, depending where you're at, it's going to exact conjunct Chiron, okay? So there's some healing going on here. So Venus moving out of the 7th house of partnerships into your house of shared resources. What's mine, what's yours, how can we, care about each other in a deeper way? What needs to be healed here for us to move forward, Okay, very, very, very important. We need to focus on what we want, love, and desire, and how we can bring that to a place of what's mine, what's yours, and expand and grow. Okay, because this is dealing with, in Aries, this is about taking the initiative, about putting one foot in front of another, and it's not sitting back anymore and just watching things happen, but it's taking action, right? And again, connecting with Chiron, there's some sort of healing that has to happen here. Maybe you've been burned in the past. Every time you try to start a business with somebody, or you try to start a relationship with somebody, or you're an employee and a boss doesn't see your light, doesn't see your growth, doesn't see your abilities, capabilities, and you get discouraged. Maybe you're in a relationship that wasn't equal, right? And if you're a Virgo and things aren't equal, it's like calling you out, which can be intense for the other person because nobody wants to see their own shadow at times, But it's just like we got to communicate these things. So, or if you're a boss and you're trying to find the right employees and you keep losing employees, okay? So this is a double edge of what's going on here. So Venus entering Aries, taking the initiative, taking the action, taking the initiative to heal, and Mercury entering your 7th house of partnerships is extremely important. Although those aren't aspecting each other, they're playing off of each other because it's saying, look, how can I be a better communicator? How can I not be so sharp, silver-tongued? I'm a Virgo rising, I get it. Okay, so, there's times that things are said and it's direct and to the point, which is a beautiful quality to have because a lot of people beat around the bush. A lot of people aren't direct with you. So it's a good thing to be direct, but sometimes it's like, okay, maybe my communication, I need to figure out, how to soften the blow. How do I add a little pillow to this? Okay, because we've still got the North Node in Cancer in your 11th house here that's saying, like, look, for my community, for my people, for this growth, I need to be compassionate. I need to be empathetic. I need to be able to, again, soften that blow and maybe realize that my directness comes across as difficult. So either way, that's up, to each individual on their own to figure out how this is going to affect their lives. Okay, now, on the 9th as well, we've got a full moon. Okay, full moon in the sign of Leo. So let me go back to the chart here. So, for you, and me, it's the 12th house. Okay, so we got Aquarius in the 6th house. We got the sun in the 6th house. This is shining our light on how we are able to, bring our light to other people, how we are able to give back to the community. What do we need to do? We are, the lighthouse, shining our light, being able to give and give, unconditionally giving in the sign of Aquarius, where we have a futuristic way of looking at things, a futuristic way of seeing things and bringing that light forward. So the moon's going to be over here opposite in the 12th house, the sign of completion. Okay, so there is some sort of a passionate fire that's burning over here. I mean, the fire's burning here, but it's being reflected by the moon, this full moon being illuminating all the shadows here in the 12th house. Of have I been dramatic? The sign of Leo. Have I been too dramatic at this certain point in time? Again, we can be critical, analytical, sign of Virgo. So it's just like, have I been dramatic in my ways of seeing, if you see a better future for a way to do something, you want to express that and communicate that. Again, depending on how we communicate and how we soften that blow, we can come across as dramatic. We can come across as, maybe stubborn or selfish, perhaps. Okay, so this is kind of highlighting, and again, the 12th house is about completion. This is about endings, okay, and tapping into your creativity, tapping into your dreams. Okay, so are you dreaming of a better way to communicate? Are you dreaming of a better way to present your ideas to the world? Are you dreaming of a better way to give back to the world? And if that's the case, maybe that's the one that's going to resonate. I'm dreaming of a bigger, better way to give back to the world. And what do I need to see within my own shadows? The 12th house here, again, it's the infant child and the guru on top of the mountain. Okay. So there's a lot going on that's saying, like, I've been this in the past, I've done this in the past, but I want to see myself here. Or maybe I've grown exponentially since the last time this has happened. And there's a newer, better way to handle this. There's a newer, better way to do this with a sense of courage, with a sense of authority, with a sense of leadership characteristics, with a sense of courage, not backing down, being bold, boldly bringing things up, boldly stepping in and recognizing our own shadows, okay? Very, very, very important. Now, for the very exciting part of the month of February, on the 16th, we've got Mars entering your 5th house, okay? You got a lot going on in the 5th house, man. Okay, so you're going to have Mars moving in on the 16th, starting to create a trine up there to Uranus. Okay, Uranus is in the 9th house. Breakthroughs of information, breakthroughs, we're traveling, breakthroughs of knowledge, breakthroughs of continuous faith in ourselves. Okay, and where we've been stubborn in our own thinking, we're going to have these beautiful, beautiful breakthroughs and awakenings that are going to happen. Okay, so Mars moving forward here into your 5th house, creative self-expression. Okay, maybe you're starting a YouTube channel, maybe you're writing a book, maybe you are, whatever you're doing, you're putting yourself out there fearlessly. Again, that full moon's going to highlight that fearlessness as well too, and it's going to make you recognize that you are the leader, that you are, the leader and the lover that you want to be, and then to bring that up, bring that to the table, bring that light out, give it to the world. Okay, so doing so, we're having Mars, planet of action and passion, moving into how you express yourself. Okay, Jupiter also up here in your 5th house. I mean, there's a stellium, the south node is right over here. So there's some sort of a way in the sign of Capricorn. There's something that's been going on of ego, a sense of ego that has been released over the past year. Little over a year now since the south node has been there, right? Transiting all of these planets. Jupiter just moved into December, but either way, it's still, they connected December, January. All right. So, there's some sort of sense of ego that's being left behind. And now we're finding a new way to express ourselves without the same stereotype, without the same ego that maybe was once there. Okay, so there's a lot going on here of how you're giving back to the world, of stepping into the leader that you are as an individual that you are, okay, having the breakthroughs of knowledge that are just going to blow you away, and you're going to be able to bring that back into yourself and apply that to how you are, how you are giving back to the world, giving back to the community. And then again, on the 16th, or on the 19th, the sun is going to enter your 7th house. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place to be. The sun entering your house of relationships, shining its light in Pisces, which is also, again, the sign of completion. Okay, so there's endings and new beginnings. There's, endings of relationships, new beginnings of relationships, or ending of lack of relationships and beginning. Okay, so there's a lot of beautiful love energy going on here for you. And then on the 23rd, we have a new moon in the sign of Pisces. Again, new beginnings in the sign of relationships. So this is very, very exciting times right now. It's just like stepping up, being bold, being courageous, learning to recognize our own shadow, learning to recognize our own ego, softening our hard earth edges, rounding it out, learning what's best for myself, learning what's best for the community at large. How can I re-communicate stuff? Again, that Mercury going through this shadow period from the 2nd to the 17th is really powerful. So pay attention to what's going on those dates, because they're going to be revisited not only once, but twice again. Okay. So my Virgos, you got a serious, serious, beautiful month ahead of you. A lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of opportunity to work your magic and to give back, and a lot of opportunity for love and beginnings of new love, right? or diving deeper into love. If you're in a committed relationship, this is refining the communication to spark that joy in the relationship that you're in right now, which is very exciting. All right, my Virgo friends, we'll see you tomorrow.